Today's rant comes to us from Chris Wallace interviewing the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, talking about the border and whether it's actually secure or not. Also talking about where do we get our perspective on whether the border is open or not, and what we can actually see versus what we're being told we should or shouldn't see. So let's roll into it.
Migrants believe there's an open border.
We talked to a few who arrived in D.C. They said that the border is open. We know it's open because we come, we enter, no problem.
Chris, have you heard some of our political leaders speak about the border and communicate that the border is open?
We're just showing you the pictures.
But political leaders communicate that the border is open?
There's some risk, though, that voters might feel like they're being lied to. When we're seeing images of, in El Paso, they've released 1,000 migrants on the street because the processing centers are overwhelmed there.
That means that under Trump, when you were saying that it was racist to close the border, then you were saying when we get in charge, the Democrat Party, that we'll have the border wide open.
The first hearing will showcase the racist tendencies of the extreme MAGA Republican wing of the party.
That says that you won't enforce the law because it's mean to enforce the law. It's racist to enforce the law. That's what the Democrat Party has been saying. I know it feels like it's, being compassionate, but it's actually saying we don't want to enforce the laws, and anybody who does enforce the laws are mean men who are mean, just don't like inclusion and just don't like colored people.
Go back to where you come from. That's not the America that I know. That's not the America that I grew up in.
And it's always about something that it's not about. And then when you say the borders are open, they say, no, that's not happening either. That's just a rhetoric thing. You're just saying that.
Get this, for the last 120 days, we're averaging 2,450 a day. That's over 300,000 known gotaways since October, and the border crossers evading our own border agents up 40% in the Del Rio sector alone. 4 million, probably over that, crossed illegally since Biden entered the White House. So,
wait. You're going to blame this all on Republican critics?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I mean, you're not
not.
going to say that the administration and the policies on Remain in Mexico or Title 42 or stopping construction of the wall, that had no impact?
We are not saying don't come. We are saying don't come now.
This was from a group of Venezuelans, and this is what they told the Daily Caller. Quote, "We sold everything to come here because President Biden told us to come. And now we can't return because we are targets for leaving."
The message is quite clear. Do not come. The border is closed. The border is secure.
Do you think that Americans believe that the border is secure?
What does secure mean to you? It certainly doesn't mean that people aren't able to get across the border illegally.
Border Patrol doesn't have enough agents to process these folks. They're completely overwhelmed, and this situation is completely deteriorating.
It's essentially a free-for-all. If people can get across the river, they can just walk in.
Of course not. But by that measure, the border's never been secure, right? Since the Department of Homeland Security was created, individuals have evaded.
So by what measure is it secure now, sir?
So there is not a common definition of that.
But we don't have a policy at our border, and we need one. It's a national security threat, and we ought to treat it as that. Think about the people who waited 5, 7, 10, 15 years to get in the country, did it legally. Watching this, it's an affront to them, it's an affront to the country, affront to our values, and there's no policy that anyone can articulate.
If one looks at the statutory definition, the literal interpretation of the statutory language, if one person successfully evades law enforcement at the border, then we have breached the security of the border.
We can't play this game that because one person gets across the border, that then a million people might as well get across the border.
So Biden lets in a record amount of illegals, record amount of fentanyl, record amount of people on the terror watch list. But they're like, don't be alarmed by this. The border is secure. They're not alarmed by any of that. They're alarmed that someone else is alarmed.
Right. And under Biden, in the 2 years of his presidency so far, 3.4 million apprehensions have occurred at the border. That's more than what occurred in the full 8 years of the Obama presidency when Biden was vice president. So this is a crisis.
So it's a matter of effort and not this word semantic game that you want to play to say, well, what since one person gets across the border, then stop the nonsense. We know that this is about effort, and this is about an attempt to try to enforce the laws, which we know that the Democrat Party claims that if you enforce the border laws in America, then you're racist.
Do you think that Americans believe that the border is secure?
They want to play both sides of this and play games as if we're doing our job, but if you do your job, you're racist.
Like, I don't know what piece of evidence you would need to see, like, oh, okay, maybe this is like a problem that we should start to worry about.
So we need the eyes to see and the ears to hear the truth and be informed voters. If you enjoyed this rant, check out one of these other 2 rants. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks to all my new subscribers. Thanks for watching. Later.